Silence does not mean defeat. Silence does not mean stupidity. Silence is golden, true. Silence, often undervalued and overlooked, is an essential element in the canvas of life. It is an art, a choice, a teacher, and a sanctuary. Silence is not merely the absence of sound. It is a deliberate pause, a space for growth and a stage for introspection. Consider a heated argument where words often escape our lips unfiltered, driven by emotion rather than reason. By choosing to be silent, we allow our minds to shift from a state of reaction to one of reflection. This pause, this moment of quiet gives us the opportunity to carefully consider our words, to understand the emotions of others, and often to prevent the escalation of conflict. The words that follow silence in such situations are usually more measured, more empathetic and wiser. In the realm of decision-making, silence is a powerful ally. When faced with significant choices, our minds can become cluttered with a cacophony of options, opinions, and expectations. By stepping into silence, we create a space to weigh our options with clarity and calmness. Often, it is in these quiet moments that the deepest insights emerge. Silence allows us to sift through the noise, to listen to our inner voice, and to arrive at decisions that are aligned with our true intentions and values. Silence teaches us patience, offers us clarity, and gifts us wisdom in these quiet moments. We hear the whispers of our hearts, the stirrings of our souls, and the echoes of our deepest desires. Silence is not just a lack of noise. It is a profound presence. It is an invitation to delve deeper into the essence of being, to encounter truths that only emerge in stillness. Silence is not just golden, it is essential. It is a sanctuary where the mind finds peace, the heart finds solace, and the soul finds meaning. But don't pretend to be wise, listen to the voice in your silence. Four monks decided to meditate silently without speaking for 2 weeks. By nightfall on the first day, the candle began to flicker, and then went out. The first monk said, "Oh, no, the candle is out." The second monk said, "Aren't we not supposed to talk?" The third monk said, "Why must you two break the silence?" The fourth monk laughed and said, "I'm the only one who didn't speak." Each monk broke the silence for a different reason, each of which is a common stumbling block to meditation. The first monk became distressed by one element of the world, the candle, and so lost sight of the rest. The second monk was more worried about rules than the meditation itself. The third monk let his anger at the first two rule him. And the final monk was lost in his ego. The path is open to its failures, as they are the stones to its success. I'm reminded of a car game I used to play with my children called Listening for Silence. The object of the game for me was to stop the noise in the car. The object of the game for the children was to see who could resist speaking the longest by listening for silence. If the first child spoke, and the second child automatically burst out proclaiming victory, and both children lost. The object was to listen for silence, and silence speaks for itself. Things do not always go as planned. This is symbolic of something else I know. But I'll just say it the way it was told. If you're used to talking, it's going to be hard to resist the temptation to talk more. So when you're with others, which I would think they would have thought of. It's like telling someone who sees just fine to close their eyes for a week, staying awake, and not open them at all. No matter what noises they heard. It's pretty near impossible to resist temptation. When you've never had to resist that type of temptation before. You could have ended the story at the point when the candle flickered and went out. The four monks have each broken their silence for altogether different reasons. But another side is in the fact that the fourth monk spoke at all. Had he simply maintained his silence, he would have been successful in his endeavor. But if he had, in all likelihood, the other three would have probably continued to argue and not even noticed his silence. I know many people who are like the fourth monk. Their motto, if I'm doing something good, and no one is watching, or no one notices? I might as well not be doing it at all. They believe that the reward is not in the effort, but in the recognition. Where I have fifth monk, I would wait 10 minutes into the exercise. Stand up and yell loudly. Ha ha ha, I lose. Then walk out to do some non-competitive meditation. Enter the woods and hear the wilderness listen. That's where you'll find it. John, your PhD is not silent. This story reminds me a teaching. When you meditate in breathing, you should concentrate your mind to your breath only and cast out all thoughts, including a thought that you are breathing. If you can describe the Zen, then you do not know it. The buffalo left his enclosure for abyss, his head past the doorway, his shoulders, girth and haunches, yet his tail would not pass through koan from the gateless gate. Oaths and promises lightly spoken, hardly kept. It is the province of knowledge to speak. It is the privilege of wisdom to listen. It is clear from reading the story that none of the monks are spiritually ready to perform the difficult silent meditation. Unfocused and easily distracted by their surroundings, the burnt-out candle and the conversations of themselves. They all failed to reach their aim of meditating in silent for 2 weeks. I see the moral of the story is to plan thoroughly and be solidly ready before embarking on an action. Focus your mind constantly, and reaching your aim and the objective will be reached, no matter how hard it is.